Well, the Eagles made it official. Jalen Carter, he's out. Darius Slay, also out versus the Jets. Justin Evans, he's gone to IR. Injuries are mounting in Philadelphia. Nakobe Dean, he's officially back. Lamar Zaccheaus, he will step up on Sunday. And the Eagles are officially tied to a star safety. It's trade season. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. All right, we mentioned in the last show, the Jalen Carter situation, the Darius Slay situation, they were likely to be out. Then Derek Gunn went ahead and posted this tweet saying that Nick Sirianni had mentioned a few times that Darius Slay and Jalen Carter may not play this Sunday. Sources have informed me it's official, Slay and Carter out. Philadelphia, they went ahead and followed up Derek Gunn's report by giving you the official injury report, which you see on your screen showing no Jalen Carter, Justin Evans going to IR, Darius Slay out, and Quez Watkins out as well. Very significant, all four of those. Quickly, Sidney Brown, he's limited. He's going to play. He has a chance to start on Sunday for the first time as a rookie. But over to the main stuff. How serious is the Jalen Carter issue? Ian Rappaport says it's an ankle sprain, not considered to be serious, but to miss this week, likely back next week for that massive matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Now, Philadelphia should be okay without Jalen Carter versus the Jets. I'm not trying to disrespect the Jets, but the Jets' offensive line is not that great. But Philadelphia drafted for these very reasons. They have a guy named Milton Williams who hasn't played that much. He should see a lot more playing time on Sunday with Jalen Carter out. Oh, and Fletcher Cox, one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time, at least in Philadelphia, he's back this week. They should be just fine from a defensive tackle perspective. And much like the Jalen Carter issue, Darius Slay also out this week, and he's dealing with a knee injury that's not expected to be as severe as I originally thought. And as Ian Rappaport says here, he should be back next week. Now, I'm more curious who they put as the official starting cornerback opposite of James Bradbury with Darius Slay out. Again, Job has been so far this season. Why not throw Eli Ricks out there? He might get baptized by fire against Garrett Wilson, but with Zach Wilson being the starting quarterback, maybe you have a chance to kind of let him not get totally cooked. What do you guys think? How worried are you with the big injuries Philadelphia has out for Sunday? Are you still taking Philadelphia like I am? You think it's a big deal, medium deal, or no deal? Let me know down below. Now, the Eagles also went ahead and signed Bradley Roby to the active roster, and as I mentioned, placed Justin Evans on injured reserve, meaning they need to get rid of one more player or free up one more roster spot in order to activate Nakobe Dean. Now, Dean yesterday was fully in practice. He was no injury designation. He is ready to go. However, he can't just waltz right back onto the roster because right now, the Eagles have 53 players on that active roster. So look for possibly adding Quez Watkins to injured reserve. Weird they didn't do it today, but move him to IR. And that could go ahead and create the roster spot for Nakobe Dean. Worth noting, they have to free up an extra roster spot 3 weeks from now when Cam Jurgens is eligible to return from injured reserve. There's a lot of moving parts right now, and Howie, he's earning his salary midway through the season. Now, the biggest news that probably dropped on Friday was the fact that there was an actual report, real sourcing, on the Eagles' interest in Panthers safety Jeremy Chinn, with national NFL reporter Cam Marino saying, source, with belief that the Carolina Panthers will look to sell at the trade deadline, the Philadelphia Eagles are expected to inquire about the availability of Panthers Jeremy Chinn. We talk about supposed trades all the time here on the channel, but I always emphasize that most of them have no sourcing. There's legit no sourcing behind this player being traded or that player being traded, which you see on a lot of other different channels. But this is actual real sourcing. This is a real national NFL reporter, used to work for USA Today. He has a legit person. Does it mean Philadelphia will for sure make the trade? No, by no means. So don't quote me on that. But you at least have real sourcing here that Philadelphia is going to look to at least pick up the phone and make a phone call to the Panthers to see about their starting safety, Jeremy Chinn. Now, Chinn is in the final year of his rookie deal. He's only making like $1.5 million, so bringing him in on a win-now, win-all sort of move makes sense. But if he fits well, you could turn right around and offer him a new contract, just like Philadelphia did with C.J. Gardner-Johnson last year. Now, I'll be honest. I don't think Philadelphia has to go out and make a trade for safety in order to win a Super Bowl this year. I don't think their big weakness right now is safety. I think injuries have been the big problem, and Justin Evans, when he was healthy, filled in admirably. Plus, you have Sidney Brown, who's starting to come into his own, and so trading for a safety is not the end-all, be-all for Philadelphia. But if you could get a guy like Jeremy Chinn for very, very cheap and then play him on a one-year deal with an opportunity to sign him next year with some extra free cap space, you at least got to kick the tires on that, right? So it's very clear that the Panthers are not very good this year and that they're trying to basically not play Jeremy Chinn in order to trade him at the trade deadline. The Eagles have dealt with injuries all season long. Every safety except Terrell Edmonds has missed at least one game. Meanwhile, the Panthers are using Jeremy Chinn for a career-low 55% of defensive snaps. He's never played less than 91% of defensive snaps in a single season. According to Albert Breer, Carolina's making Chinn available for trade. Let's not forget, the Eagles were reportedly considering Jalen Hurts and Jeremy Chinn with the 53rd overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. So we at least have a big-time name that is linked to Philadelphia, and now we sit back and wait because the NFL trade deadline is still a couple of weeks away. This is most likely a move that would happen very, very close to the deadline, as the Panthers are going to try to drive up the price in case there are multiple bidders bidding on Jeremy Chinn. Now, Philadelphia's not the only team dealing with injuries heading into Sunday. The New York Jets are dealing with a bunch of injuries as well, as Sauce Gardner was added to their injury report with an illness. He's questionable for Sunday's game, but this goes on the top of the fact that DJ Reed, their other starting cornerback, he's been ruled out with a concussion for the second straight week. Now, it's likely Sauce will play. Will he be 100%? Could it be a flu? Could it be, a sort of cold or something like that? Who knows? But worth noting that Philadelphia might have a little bit of an edge up in terms of their elite receivers against a banged-up Jets passing defense. In fact, A.J. Brown was meeting at his locker room with a bunch of reporters, and he was asked about the situation. In the background, listen to Brandon Graham. What did he say?
I know he already open, so.
But like I said, we're not trying to look that far ahead. We focus on the Jets.
He is always open. He's going to be open a lot on Sunday. If you were worried about the Eagles' offense against the Jet defense, the fact that DJ Reed is out and that there could be a situation going on with one Sauce Gardner, maybe you don't worry about sitting Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown, although you never should, on your fantasy team just because the Jets defense is that good. Honestly, I'm way more excited about this Jets matchup than I was just a couple of days ago. I think this is a great opportunity for Philadelphia minus Jalen Carter with the defense, Sidney Brown possibly starting, to Kobe Dean being back to have lots of storylines, but a potential to shut down not a good Jets offense, a bad Jets offense, but still earn some brownie points and look good doing it. I think Philadelphia's offense has a great test to go 4 quarters and showcase their ability to keep moving the football. They did a really good job last week against the Rams and basically proving to us that they're back to their 2022 ways. Now you do it against an even better defense or a more complete defense, especially since Sauce Gardner's probably going to play, and that'll go a long way toward turning the minds of Eagle fans who are maybe on the edge of this team being Super Bowl caliber back to being all in and being ready for a long run. And we have plenty more stuff happening in the next couple of days and weeks, including my interview with Jake Asman launching very, very soon here on the channel. Be sure to subscribe for that. He's the host of the biggest Jets channel on YouTube. We go back and forth getting ready for this game. Great preview. Be sure to stay tuned and subscribe for that. Where are you at right now on Zach Wilson?
Man, ask me tomorrow. My answer might be different. I mean, and to be fair to Zach, because I absolutely destroyed him after he had one of the worst quarterback games I've ever seen against the Patriots. Like, it as bad as New England is, it pains me inside that the Jets actually lost to them because they should have smoked them. They held them to 13 points, and there were guys running free on the outside, and Zach was, like, afraid to pull the trigger. So it was the conversation in New York that week was, you got to bench him, you got to bring someone in, you got to trade for someone. You cannot start Zach Wilson against the Chiefs. You're going to lose the locker room. The season's going to spiral. And then, to his credit, he plays really well against Kansas City. His best game as a pro by far. And this past week against Denver, while he was not nearly as good as the Chiefs' performance, he did a good job taking what the defense was giving him. He did not have any, crucial turnovers. I know the interception at the end is technically on him, but that's a 50-50 ball, and Patrick Surtain made a heck of a play on Garrett Wilson, so that happens. He's been better of late. As far as where he's at big picture, he went from a guy who I thought was unplayable to a guy who at least has proven he could probably be a backup in this league for a long time. But we have a long way to go before any Jet fan is going to be feeling like Zach Wilson's the guy long term. We're just trying to see if, with this defense and running game, if they could go out there and kind of piece it together until either, by the grace of the medical gods, Aaron Rodgers is somehow back at the end of the year, or, they could kind of just piece it together like they did when Mark Sanchez was the quarterback a decade ago, and they were able to, win some playoff games with a great defense and running game.
I'm Thomas Mott. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.